Sorry. The joys of live video.
Hey everybody.
I think I'm good.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Greg here from the Kindergarten Smorgasbord. And one of the things I get a lot of questions about is how I run and manage and organize all of my centers, or as we call them in our classroom, hippopotamuses. So I've talked a lot about how we run centers with the center wheel and all of the choices and all of the freedom that my kids have during center time. So one of the things that people ask a lot about, and I haven't really talked much about, is how I change out my centers. So today I wanted to show you how I do that. And so the way the centers are designed and created, with all of the choices that are built into both math and literacy centers, I don't have to change my centers frequently. Every couple of weeks I'll add in a couple of new centers to keep things fresh, but I don't have to do a big center change every Friday. Actually, I can wait and do it at the end of the month or after a holiday. So since we just wrapped up with Thanksgiving, it's time to switch out to all of our Christmas centers. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. You're going to see it's very quick and easy. And again, I don't have to spend all Friday night at school changing out centers. It's a very efficient, very quick process. And when the kids come back after Thanksgiving break, they'll have all new hippopotamuses. So the first part of my centers and changing them out and making it easy is having them organized. And so this is the closet in my classroom, and you can see that all of my centers are organized by skill. And I organize by skill so that when I am changing out centers, if my kids need to work on beginning sounds, I can pop into the closet, grab this beginning sounds box, and pull out some centers for beginning sounds. So I don't have to dig through boxes of February centers to find a beginning sound center. And it makes it super easy because I can just grab the stuff from the tubs, throw it in the boxes where it goes, and grab out new centers. So this makes a big difference in being able to change out my centers very quickly, because it's very easy to find the skills that I need, and it makes putting things away. All right, so let's get started. We're going to see if Jason can follow me around like a good cameraman. So what I do when I'm changing out centers is when I'm pulling them out of the tubs, I'm going to start looking for all of the things that go together so that I'm not making a bunch of trips back and forth. So right now I'm looking for all of the centers that are just letters. I'm just working on letter recognition. And I know that that's all of the letter recognition because I know none of my other groups are working on letters. So the rest of this stuff is all going to be beginning sounds, CVC words, and those kinds of skills. So I don't need to pull out anything else. So now I can take these, and I'm going to throw these back in here. And they're going to go right here in this tub because this is all of my letter recognition centers. All right, so now we can do our beginning sounds. And then, of course, sometimes the kids lose the bags. So I always keep extra bags handy so that when I am putting stuff away, I can put it back in the bags and it'll be ready to go. And I use the bags with the sliders on top because it makes it a lot easier for the kids to open and close the bags. You'll notice I'm not taking out every one of the centers. I do leave some of the centers that are not holiday themed. So like I'm leaving the CVC, what does the fox say? Beginning sounds. So I'm leaving those in their tubs because those can be used all year. But what you will see me do, so for example, this is just beginning sounds. This green group has worked on this one for a while, so what I'll do is I'm going to put it over here in the blue group. And so when they come in, they'll have a new center to work on, even though it's been in all the other tubs. Those away. So now what I'll do, because I want to fill up these two tubs so you can see what that process looks like, so you don't have to watch me pull out all of these centers. So what I've done this week was I actually sat down and did some quick assessment of my kids using ESGI. We also did our running records this week, so I have a really good idea of where all of my kids are right now. So I know that none of my kids need to work on just letter recognition. So what I'm going to be pulling out for my two groups that I just emptied those tubs, I'm going to be pulling out all beginning sounds, which of course there's letter recognition involved, but they're going to be really focused on beginning sounds. The rest of the tubs are going to be beginning sounds and CVC words and word families, because that's where I'm seeing my kids need a lot of work. And so that's where we're going to be focused on in our centers. So this part can get a little messy. Just because I have to kind of find what I'm looking for. But I also kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for. I know I'm looking for all, Christmas, holiday themed stuff. Also looking for centers that are not necessarily seasonal. So there's a good Christmas freebie on the blog. So I'm just kind of digging through. I also know that I have another box of beginning sound centers, so if I don't find what I'm looking for in this box, I'll just go grab that other box. There's some. So those are Christmas trees and Christmas ornaments from my Christmas black lines. And what ends up happening is I can tell kind of by looking at this box as I'm kind of digging through it. As things get switched out, what ends up happening is the boxes kind of naturally end up being divided by almost by like seasons. So this is pretty much everything through Thanksgiving. Pulled out a couple of Christmas things, but there aren't a lot of Christmas items in here. And it's just as I switch stuff out, things kind of end up grouped together. Put all these back. Other box of beginning sounds. And I do know that I've thrown some of this beginning sound stuff away because it's been updated, so I need to reprint stuff. So there's some more beginning sounds from holidays around the world. Gingerbread superheroes.
Those are cute.
Yeah, I love those. So already I'm starting to see a lot more Christmas stuff, so that kind of tells me and winter stuff. This is where most of the Christmas and winter stuff is going to be.
So you don't actually organize by CVC fall, CVC winter.
No.
They just, like you said a second ago, they just naturally end up
Yeah.
kind of together because as you're going in and changing them,
Everything kind of
fit
gets
'em all.
lumped together and piled together. So it ends up kind of naturally happening on its own.
So you only organize by skill.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Reindeer. I'm also seeing in here lots of penguin stuff, lots of winter stuff, which will be great for January. So there's some snowflakes. And like this would be from my What Does the Fox Say? So if I wanted to pull that out, I could pull that out at any time of the year, just because it's not a themed center.
So how many do you pull? How do you know how many you need to pull out?
I pay very close attention to how many I've emptied, but sometimes I don't, so I'm just kind of guessing. So what I'm doing, even though this is a beginning sound center, there's no matching involved. It's just writing the letter. So I'm going to put this one in the green group because I want this group working on the letter and the sound. So they're going to have activities that are actually the picture and the letter. So whereas this group, it's a little more challenging because they're not looking for the letter, they're just writing the letter.
What about lost pieces? How do you know where they go?
It kind of depends on what it is, and sometimes if I find them, I try to put them back. I've got a box in here, a little basket of lost pieces, so I kind of keep my eye on that. And like here's a lost piece, and so when I do the math centers in a little while, I'm going to be looking for this activity. It's hard. I don't think there's a great way to keep up with them. The kids are pretty good about it. If they find it, they'll let me know, and we try to put it up right away, but it doesn't always happen. And so I need a few more, so I'm going to go look for a few more of those beginning sound centers. Also, what I can do is I can come over here and look. So like this is a What Does the Fox Say center, and it's beginning sound. So what I will do is I'm going to take this center and I'm going to move it to this group.
So kind of what you did a second ago.
I'm just kind of switching some stuff around. And that just makes it easy on me. It's very easy to kind of switch things around. But it also allows the kids to help each other. So it doesn't require me to have to explain a lot of the centers. So if, let's say somebody from the green group says, ooh, I don't know how to do this, the kids in these two groups have already done that center, so they can help the kids.
So do they pick any center in their color?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter which drawer they grab from, they can grab from any drawer that they want.
As long if they're in the green group, they can pick any of the green, or if it's math and they're in the green math group, they can pick any of the stuff in the green math basket. That's where that freedom and that choice comes in. And that's what keeps them engaged and eliminates that behavior and that bored and I'm finished. So they have control over what they want to do. So if they want to do this one, ooh, that looks fun, they can. Because if I told them to do this one and they didn't want to, they're going to get bored and they're probably going to cause some behavior issues. So that's why we have all the choices and they have all the freedom to pick what they want and to do the activities that they want. And because it's all differentiated, no matter what drawer they pick, it's a skill that they need to work on. So I'm really targeting the drawers to what those kids in that group need.
Cool.
So that's what it looks like when I change out centers.
Do you put one activity in each drawer?
Yes, so there's one activity in each drawer. And like some of these, almost all of my creations have recording sheets. And with the recording sheets, what I do is I create 2 to 3 recording sheets, and that's what makes the differentiation easy. So this one, they're going to say the sound and color of the picture, but that also will have where they write the letter. So there's some differentiation. And you could also would have the letters, so they could just work on letter recognition. So all of my centers are designed to be done in the same way. So the process stays the same, the skill and the clip art changes. And with the 2 to 3 recording sheets, you're not getting just one center. So this would be actually 3 different centers. So they're designed to be very kid-friendly, very engaging, very teacher-friendly. Very teacher-friendly in that you don't have to spend time on Monday teaching new centers, because if you're using my centers, then they're all pretty much done the same way. So the kids are familiar with how they're done, but you're also getting multiple centers and multiple activities in one center. Easy to differentiate, easy to meet the needs of all of your kids.
So the centers that you're putting in here now, are these skills that they're currently working on,
Yes.
or are they ones that they've previously mastered?
No, they're skills that they need to work on. And so, like this group needs to work on beginning sounds. And so everything that's going to be in these tubs are going to be on beginning sounds. I'm probably going to leave this one out just so they have one to work on letters. Although I did make a new one that's gingerbread men, so we'll put that one out. And then over here, you can see this group is working on CBC words. And so
then they change colors based upon their mastery of the skills. Is that how it works?
yeah, the groups fluctuate a little bit, but more what changes are the skills more than the kids. Because what I've found is that these groups stay pretty consistent. You'll see some movement like between these two, maybe these two and these two, but really the skills in the tubs are what changes.
And
the
how
kids
often
don't change as often.
How often do you change your centers out?
So every couple of weeks, what I will do is I'll come over and we'll say, no, not in a bag. We'll say every couple of weeks I'm going to put this one here, and then I'm going to run in the closet and grab a new one to put in here. And then what I would do is I would take some from this group and I would throw them in here, and then I would find something to put in here. So I kind of shift some things down, and then this group will get some new stuff. But these are all seeing new centers because I just kind of moved the stuff. So that keeps it fresh and new every couple of weeks without spending a lot of time. And then what I'm doing right now, so after a holiday usually, is when I come in and I change out all of them.
And how many students are in a group, approximately?
4 to 5, depends. I'm going to have 19 kids when we come back. So a couple of groups have 4, a couple have 5.
And so if they want more information on how you do your centers, where should they go?
If you want more information on how we run our centers, the center wheel, all the choices, all of the creations, you can go to the blog. I've got several blog posts on how I run centers. There's some videos, there are YouTube videos, so you can check out all of those. I give a lot of detail on how we run the centers, how the center wheels work. There's videos of the kids actually doing the centers. There are videos of me on the first day of centers and training the kids. You can actually see the kids using the centers.
And here are the center wheels.
There are videos on how we make the center wheels, how we introduce the center wheels. So there's lots and lots of information on the blog and on our YouTube channel about how we run centers, how we set them up and manage them. Lots of videos on YouTube. And of course, you can go to Teachers Pay Teachers and check out our TPT store and see all of the creations that are available. And you can also follow us on the Facebook page because we always do lots of giveaways and we have freebies and lots of freebies on the blog also. So if you have any more questions, you can let us know here on Facebook. Check out the blog for a lot more information on centers. Check out TPT for all of our center creations. And if you have questions, let us know. Thanks, everybody.